What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Turbo Tin. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about my first track day HPDE experience. I recently went to Summit Point Motorsports Park in West Virginia for my first ever track day with the FL5 Type R, and I wanted to give you guys information on what happened at the event. Things such as cost of entry, my experience, what can you expect at the track, and just general knowledge information for track days. And if you guys like more content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button below, and let's get on with the video. So first things first, let's talk about cost of entry. For the 2-day event, the total cost was $487. Now this is specific just for SCCA WDCR, so Washington DC region, and for this track. So your cost may vary depending on which track you go to, and that cost includes the 2 days as well as the $20 weekend membership with SCCA, since I am not an SCCA member. Now, an SCCA membership will cost you $100 a year, I believe, and it's worth it if you go to 5 or more track day events per year. Since I signed up so late, this was in August now, late August, I would not have enough time to go to more than 5 events this year. So it wouldn't be worth it for me personally this year. Now in the near future, aka next year, next season, I will become an SCCA member because I do anticipate on going to more than 5 track day events next year, which is exciting because after this one track day event, oh my goodness, I will tell you, I am hooked. It is so fun. It's very technical driving. I had a lot of fun passing other people, and I want to move up to the next class, as soon as I can, so that I can get humbled by other people much faster than I am. So, yeah, cost of the event itself, $487. I don't think it's super terrible, especially for at least this region. We have this thing called work one, drive one, or work two, drive free. So work one, drive one is you work one day, so you can either be a flagger or, putting cones down or whatever. And the next day you'll drive for just $50, which is an amazing deal. Or you can do what I'm about to do this upcoming October, is you work for 2 days, so Saturday and Sunday, and then the next event you go to will be free for both days. So I'll be going in November, which is the last one, I believe, for completely free, given that I'll be working both days in October. So that's a great way to cut down on costs. And also, if you're an instructor, you drive for free. So once you get up to that good, you can go whenever you want. I want to be that good maybe within 2 to 3 years, hopefully, depending on how good I am as a driver and how fast I improve. But looking forward to that. Everything else on the car was stock. Brake pads were stock. Rotors were stock. Fluids, stock. Yup. I just raw dogged that thing. Did not change fluids, did not change brake pads. All right, now that you paid for the event and you are getting ready to go, what can you expect at your first track day? Obviously, there are different classes of drivers. There were novice, intermediate, advanced, and the instructor class. So 4 different groups, multiple sessions a day. So I have the schedule right here. Let me pull it up. For the novice group, there were a total of 9 sessions over the 2 days event. The first day was only 4 sessions because there's more class time. And class time is important, especially if you're a novice driver. They'll go over how to drive, what to expect, and especially pointing by. So pointing by is if you're a slower car and someone else faster is coming up behind you and you're in a passing zone or you're approaching a passing zone, you should be pointing them by so that they can go and everybody can get on their way, and not hold up everybody else behind you. I did run into a few instances where people did not want to point me by even though I was much faster. The same car actually will point me by and keep accelerating, so it's harder for me to pass. I don't know why. And another instance, same car, was in the passing zone, did not let anybody else pass.
Oh, come on, man.
And this was on the straight where, you're supposed to go all out from like 100% throttle. And that almost caused an accident, which will lead me to my next point. Track insurance. I will be an advocate for getting track insurance on your track days. Because, especially in novice, you may think you're a good driver, cool, but other people on the track might not be. So you also don't know how other people will drive, right? They may brake earlier, they may brake sooner, they might brake same time you do. You don't know. It's very unexpected, just like most accidents are. And, if it's your daily driver or, it's someone else's car that you borrow for the track, I don't know. It's very hard and very gut-wrenching to see a car crash, especially if you're the one driving that car or you're the one that caused the accident, God forbid. Towing costs. The track is an hour and a half away from me. If I had gotten into a crash and towed the car back to my house, I'm pretty sure that would have exceeded the cost of the track insurance, for one. And two, my car would have been totaled or damaged or whatever. And your regular car insurance will not pay for that. Your State Farm, your Allstate, your Geico, Progressive, whatever. They will not cover damages incurred on the track. So if you hit on the track and you have no insurance, no track insurance, you're out of luck. And you'll have to eat all that cost on your own. So, if it's your first time, your second time, whatever, I would highly, highly, highly recommend you get track insurance every time you go to the track. Just more peace of mind, and you're covered if something happens. And on track, something's bound to happen. That one day, I did see someone get into a crash. True story, and everybody was very worried for the guy, but he was fine. And obviously his car was covered, so he's good to go. Make sure you get track insurance. Before you go to the track, before you put your car and yourself in a little bit of danger, you want to make sure your car is in tip-top condition. So here at SCCA DC region, they have a tech inspection form that you should fill out before you go to the track. Now this can be done at either a mechanic shop, or if you're mechanically inclined, you can do so yourself. And this just goes over, the basic things such as, are your brake pads good enough for the track? Do your tires still have tread? Is everything secured or bolted securely? Do you have enough oil, brake fluids? Do your brake fluids look like they're black or is it clear? That type of deal. This is to make sure that you're safe and people racing with you are also safe. You don't want things breaking down on the track. So just keep that in mind. Make sure you get your car inspected for your safety, first of all, right? You want to keep you safe. And you don't want your car to get hurt while you're driving because you neglected to see something. Now, as novice drivers, you will be assigned an instructor who will sit next to you with a communication device in your helmet throughout your sessions. They will talk to you more or less depending on your skill level. They'll talk about where to brake, how to brake, what is the perfect line. They'll go over this in the classroom as well, but someone else will be in the car reinforcing that with you while you're driving. They'll give you feedback if you make a slight mistake or you did something you shouldn't have done. So for me personally, the first time I went out, I totally forgot that, the first lap, you're not supposed to overtake. And I got a little bit too excited. I got to the passing zone and I tried to overtake. And my instructor was like, hey, whoa, no, this is not an overtake lap, not just yet. So I was like, oh, oops, should not have done that. So that's what the instructor is for. They'll correct, any mistakes that or they'll try to correct any mistakes that you make during your lap. Depending on who you have an instructor, they'll talk more or less, depending on how you're driving as well. Not to brag, but my instructor didn't say all that much, I think I did pretty good. I have my instructor evaluation. I'll post it up online. But my number one issue I had was consistency. So I just need to take my lines and my braking zones, more consistently. As the day progressed, from my first ever session on Saturday to my last session on Sunday, I definitely got faster. There were other people at the track who noticed that as well, and they came up to me and they were like, hey, you got so much faster during your first ever session and compared to now. So progressing pretty good, I will say, and it is very exciting. I want to go back many, many more times, cost permitting, obviously. It is a fun experience. I want to get to the higher classes just to see, what is the difference between me and the obviously more advanced drivers. Get yourself humbled. At least for this region, SCCA, they have ride-alongs. So you can ride along with any of the instructors and, experience what it's like to go fast. I did not partake in this last event because I found out too late, obviously. So I'll do that these upcoming events in the near future. Now for future events, I will be incurring some additional costs. I'm gonna get some new brake pads, fronts and rears. I've been recommended CSG brake pads, so I'll probably go with those. They're a little bit expensive. I think they're like $400 per axle, so we'll see. And then I'll also get some new brake fluids to go in there, so I'll probably go with Castro SRF. Now, while I was driving, I did notice the brake system light come on, and this is for the FL5 specifically. There was another driver there with an FL5. He was in the advanced class. Shout out Thomas. He also ran into the same problem. And we did some research and talk to a few other drivers over there. Shout out Alan. And it turns out it's a warning light to tell you that your brake fluids are being cooked or are getting overheated. But we did not experience any brake fade, or our brake pedals still worked just fine. It didn't go spongy or anything like that. So that's just something to keep in mind. I'll keep an eye on that with the new fluids for next time. As far as overheating goes, personally, I did not experience any overheat or heat soak, but Thomas experienced it. So he removed the rain guard from the hood vents so he can get more cooling. We'll see how it goes in November when I drive again. Weather should be cooler, so heat should not be an issue in November. Now, pro tip, if this is your first time driving, I would highly recommend removing your wheel cover or hubcap covers, because my front ones melted off after the first day. The wheel hub cover melted and fell out, both of them on both sides. So because the brakes and the wheels got too hot, I guess I was driving correctly, and the front ones melted off. I saw them, they're off. I'm gonna hang them on the wall somewhere here, just commemorating my first track day. So if you go, make sure you take those off. If your hubcaps are expensive, mine weren't. I'm gonna keep them off, I think. And yeah, that was my track day experience. I highly recommend, if you have any sort of vehicle, it doesn't matter. If you want to go fast, if you think you're fast, go to a track day. Find out how slow you actually are. Like, I was humbled. There was this one Camaro that brakes so late that I didn't realize that I could brake that late. So save some money, get yourself to a track day, and have some fun. And stay safe out there. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.